Won't you come on by
and journey through our minds?
We gonna have a sip of wine and our board.
And our board with Jaleesa and Ashley.
Clink, clink. Lord, let that simmer in, Ashley.
The sip.
Yeah, because this is a touchy subject. Has another one. Forgiveness. And what Pastor said, God forgives. But I don't. And that was Apostle Fred D. Gooden III. We just came from church and he talked on forgiveness, and it was a touchy subject. Like, I'm gonna get you back, sucker.
I'm gonna get you. That's when you don't forgive. That's how you know you haven't forgave.
Sure enough, haven't you? But in your mind, you say, "No, I'm cool." But then it's like, let that thing play back, roll that tape, and then you be like, you know what? Because I know they're gonna come back. I gotta put some stuff together.
What do you say? I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this, but the next time I see you, I'm not gonna feed you. Or something he said.
Yes. Oh my gosh, because you gonna find something.
I forgive you though, but next time I see you, I ain't gonna feed you.
Yo, how many times have we done that though? Like, put vengeance in our own hands.
After you've claimed you've forgiven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, this is my opportunity right here. I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Waiting on it.
Yes. Don't know how. Like,
and sometimes you're not even waiting on it. I think sometimes stuff just come up, like you said, and you see a picture, a thought, or something, and it's like,
right,
we're back there again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be cool, and you be like, I forgive the person, we Gucci, and then until you see them, and it's always something about that mind, boy, that be like, remember when?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when
you did this.
You ain't gonna sit there and tell them, you remember you did this. No, you gonna be like anticipating and saying, yeah, I'm gonna get you back. I got this, my opportunity. Yo, boy, I tell you. But how do you overcome and work on forgiveness? Is it something that really you can really work on?
I don't think you can force it.
Yeah.
So another point he made, he was talking about, I'm not ready right now.
Facts.
I might want to forgive you, but I'm not ready.
Facts.
We gonna have to come back to this.
I'm gonna take an olive on that one. Olive approach.
So I think it's something you can work on. It's just not something that can be forced. Cause you'll be ready when you're ready.
It's a process.
Yeah.
It is a process, because it also depends on what the person has done too.
That is true. And then some people, I do feel like, are just bitter. So they really don't have it in their heart or the capacity to forgive, because they just done held on to so much stuff, and it's
over their head.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's beyond forgiving at that point.
Then that's like you playing victim at this point, because you want to keep telling the
that's
story over and over and over. You telling the story to anybody who wants to hear it.
And people who don't want to hear it. Everybody who will listen.
Then that means you ain't forgive.
Yep.
But you saying oh, that's good. Wow. You saying you forgive, but you really did, because you're still telling the story over and over and over, and not sitting there saying, okay, how can I overcome this, or how can I get through this? And just like he said, going in your prayer closet and telling God, I don't forgive them. God, you forgive, but I don't.
Yeah.
And saying, I don't forgive them, but help me process this. Teach me how to forgive them. Because, that's even like with rejection. When you get rejected by somebody, you don't know their intentions on why they're rejecting you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can feel some type of way and be like, no, I don't like them because they did whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop.
Yeah.
But it's like, maybe they did it out of their own fear or their own circumstance. You don't know.
That's true.
You ain't talk about it. So how would you know? And it's
sit on that one.
that one, girl. That one yoked me up. Cause I was like, remember my situation when I was talking to you, and I was giving you all the detail, all the deals about how old boy was hurting me and all this stuff. And I could see it in your face, but it was just like, shoot, she gonna let me talk. I'ma just go ahead. I'm going in.
What you see in my face, Jaleesa?
It was like. It wasn't no nod. It wasn't that. It was just. You done? That what it looked like. Is you done? No, I'm not done. Because I got more to give. It wasn't until I got in the car and God was like, is you done? Did you get out what you felt?
Yeah.
Now, did it fix you? Do you feel healed? No. I'm mad. Now I'm in the car. I'm mad. Why did this happen to me? And again, like, girl, all of it just started fuming. And then it was like, God then dealing with me with it. Like, well, this is how it happens because you keep doing this.
Right.
And you keep making the same mistake when it's something you have already vowed and said that you're not going to do. But you keep opening that wound, opening that door, like he was talking about doors. You keep opening that door to allow yourself to be vulnerable to get hurt again. I was like, I said, okay, so how can we transition for this not to happen? Brother put me back in my notebook and was like, remember you wrote this down?
It's in the book.
It's in the book. It's in your journal and you wrote it. It's in your journal and you wrote it. And it was just like, oh, man, I think I got it too. Hold on. Go my back. Backpack. Okay. Somebody got their backpack. I think I said, when you are positioning yourself according to the peace and purpose of God, God will just bring it to you. So I will not stress or cheat about it. And so he will bring it to me. I will no longer complain or look for it. God will just bring it to me. What happened was I was up here trying to find a relationship when it's, we know in the word they always say he that finds a wife. Okay. But still, like in my mind, it was, well, I gotta make myself present. How he gonna find me? And trying to push myself out there instead of just being present, just being myself. Like, don't go over and above. You don't have to put yourself out there. Like, if somebody's interested, they are going to approach. Trust. They are going to approach you. They gonna make sure you notice them. And it was like, but I was the one. No, be honest with yourself, Jaleesa. I was the one pursuing. And it was like, but what did I tell you? I said, I will bring it to you. So why is you going out there doing it? And then now this person done hurt me. And now I'm waiting. I'm like this. Yep. I know they're going to come back. And I can't wait because I want to slash all 4 tires. But you ain't going nowhere. Like having all these different type of, like, yo, because I know you're going to reach out to me. When you call, I ain't going to answer. Ha ha. Like, because that's how I felt. Like, vengeance is mine. And God was like, you childish. You feel me? You childish. And it was like, because you got me. And like, it goes back to, we don't like to lose.
Yeah.
We don't like to take that L. And sometimes it's not even us losing. It's a learning.
It's not.
It's a learning tactic. Like, yo, and sometimes we just put ourselves out there at that moment. And it's like, okay, retract, regroup.
So in that moment, in this scenario, do you feel like you need to forgive that person who hurt you, or you need to forgive yourself?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. Forgiving myself, learning to, like I said, learning to be kind to myself. And so apologizing and saying, hey girl, sorry. We could have did this better. Instead of, what's the word I want to use? Not grief, but not even frustration. It's a word that I want to use that is like regret. There you go. Regret. Being regretful, because as soon as something happens and it's like,
I do that.
Right. First thing on sight. Oh, why did I do that? Like, dang, you ain't see that coming? Like, we done went through this before. Dang, how you ain't know that was gonna happen? And it was like, okay, don't regret it, but we not gonna go through this circle and this cycle no more. So instead, let's learn from this one, because now we are aware.
Don't regret it anyway, because in that moment, you did exactly what you wanted to do.
Let's take a pause for that one.
So it's no point to even be like, why I do that? Beating yourself up, because you did what you want to do. You knew in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you knew what you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Come on. Yeah. It hit different. Yeah, when you want what you want, you gonna do it regardless, and you gonna sit and talk to yourself and be like, well, it's only right. I mean, because then you gonna be like, everybody else is doing it, why can't I do it? What makes me any different? And so you do it, and now you done got caught up in the sauce. And then when the sauce don't turn out to the taste of what you wanted, then it's a problem. And so now you become the victim, or some of us want to become, I'm gonna say some of us may not even realize that we become the victim, but then we just go into a mode where it's like, I gotta defend myself. Come on, defense attorney. We begin to defend ourselves because and then still sometimes talking like you told me after when that's another thing I did. I called Ashley. And I apologized to you for even talking your ear. Because and the reason why I did that was because what you're speaking into a person, you're speaking also in their life. She could have been doing something else. We could have been talking about something productive. And I'm up here talking about something that, girl, is you going to go back or is you going to stay? Like, is you going to go or you going to leave them? What is you going to do? Because at this point, but I'm thankful that she didn't take that approach. She just allowed me to vent. But then it was like, oh man, I'm mad I did that. Like, dang, I shouldn't even. I was upset with myself, like we talked about today. The energy. I shouldn't even gave that much energy to something. Like, girl, why are you even giving them? Sometimes people like that energy. You don't even know that their spirit is feeding off that. Feeding off that. And they don't even got to be in front of you to hear you talking about it. They can be feeding off that energy, and you up there riled up, upset, while they probably in the comfort of their bed. Ain't worried about not a goddamn thing. And you up there feeding their soul with that unnecessary energy that's like fueling them. And so now I had to learn where it's like, oh, don't even give it that much play. Don't just put it like this, note it. And it's like, okay, so how are we going to move past it? How are we going to do this differently? And so I looked back at my notes and I said, oh, okay, this is how we're going to do this differently. God, you said that you will bring it. God, you said this is how we're going to do this. God, you said this is how you're supposed to date. Like we talked about this. You gave definitely divine instructions. And so it's like forgiving myself, forgiving that person, and no, you don't have to sit up there and call that person and say, I'm sorry, I apologize for talking about you so bad. Girl, boy, that ain't their business. Just know in your heart that you forgave them. You ain't gotta do all that. Don't add unnecessary stress. Cause and then they want to be invested, and then next thing you know, your feelings may want to get involved again, and then you go back into the goddamn Charlotte's Web of unnecessary.
So what about, let's talk about family members and forgiveness.
Girl, I'm glad I took a drink.
I don't even know where I want to go with that because I want you to just shoot off where you want it. But
yeah.
Do you have any family members where it just took a long time, or anybody that you haven't forgiven yet?
Mm-hmm.
You got somebody that you haven't forgiven?
I forgive. I just ain't forget.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I do see now when God says that vengeance is his, vengeance definitely be his. Like, I'm not going to talk about it on this camera because it's not for me to put out there. But I've definitely seen where God has done certain things. And it was like, oh, but remember when you used to say this about me and now look at you? Mm-hmm. It was one of them. And it's just like, oh, tables do turn. Mm-hmm. Tables do turn. I remember when you said this about me. And now look at you. And that's what he talked about today when God says, like, vengeance is yours. Like, you can sit up there and be saying about somebody, I don't know how they could be in an abusive relationship and get beat on. I would never, nobody ain't gonna never hit on me. And yet, what happens? Sometimes we could be not even in a physical or abusive relationship. You could be in a mental abusive relationship. But because you done said to somebody else, I don't know how I couldn't deal with that. You ain't doing that, but you could deal with somebody that'll sit there and be mentally abusing you.
Same thing.
Belittling you. Somebody don't even give you no interest. It comes back. That's why you gotta be careful of what you say about what he said. What you say about people, you don't think that ain't gonna come back to you. It may not come back to you in the way that you think it is, but it's gonna come back to you in a form that is least expected. I'm gonna sit. You put my crock on.
What about forgiving people who are? Do you have a scenario for this? Forgiving someone who has passed away. Someone you can't ever talk to again, for them to apologize. Yeah. You know, whatever. I definitely feel like I had that situation with my dad. And I used to always, as a kid, and growing up, I would be like, I'm so ready to move out this house. But then, not even just that, but it was like, I'm ready to be older and out this house and have a different relationship with him outside of me growing up with him.
Yeah.
That didn't get to happen.
Wow.
So, a lot of that, like the hurt and things that went on in our household or whatever, it would have been nice for him to be like, I apologize for doing that, or, you know, whatever. And I think I held on that for a while. So that was something I had to be like, okay, it's time to let that go.
How did that feel?
He's not even here no more.
Yeah, how did that feel? Like, even the grief process of it, not even hearing the sorry that you want to hear.
Repeat that again.
Like, now that he done passed, not being able to receive the sorry or receive the apology that you felt that you deserved, and then grief on top of that, because I mean, that is your father. He done passed.
Well, when he passed away, my mind wasn't, you did this and you did that, and I was just sad, you know. It just hurt. Because who the hell told you could die? I wasn't ready.
Right, like, well, dang.
So it was kind of like that. It took me some more life experiences for me to be like, okay, like putting the pieces together. And it was just like, okay, you did what you knew. It don't make it right, but this is all you knew.
This is good.
Yeah, so it's like at this, I have to accept it because that's all you knew as a parent. So
I think that's a very good, it's a sensitive, but it's a good subject of being able to forgive your parents or whoever may have raised you. Like, this is what they knew. Like, I knew for me, with my grandmother, I lost my mother at a very young age. And so I was always looking for that mother.
Yeah.
Well, my grandmother adopted me, and it was just like she stepped in as mother. But I felt like you ain't playing the mother role.
Yeah.
Cause like, what is you doing? Cause I was confused. Like, I don't even know what you are. You not grandma, nor are you mother. Cause I would be like, I told her, which we done discussed this, but I had told her, I was like, I would want to go on trips. You know, like, let's go get our nails and stuff done. And because she's older, she ain't got time. She tired. So, like, bro,
yeah,
the heck? And it was just like, and then her discipline was like always so strict on me. So when my cousins would come for like the summer, she went into grandma mode for them. We was going to the zoo and everything else. So I felt resentment because it was just like, you ain't give me that. I'm pissed. Like, and so it made me like become very rebellious. And it wasn't until really like last year where I got my apology, like, from her. And I wasn't even expecting an apology, but I just explained to her, like, I didn't feel like I got grandma or mom from you because you were older in age. And when I be like, oh, grandma, let's have a conversation. Girl, I'm watching Oprah. I like resented Oprah. Oprah, like, pissed. Like, girl, forget all this. Man, the heck with Oprah. And so it became to a point where it was like, well, if this is all I can get from you, then I guess I'll just watch Oprah with you. Yeah. Didn't even care for that lady, but it was like, well, if this is all, just to spend time. And then it was like, but when my cousins came, you had that time. So it was like, well, where was that time for me? And so when she said to me, this was all I knew. I just knew I had to step in mother role. But I didn't realize how it was affecting you. And I just teared up and was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I was not expecting that apology. But even to the people that don't receive it, that gotta be tough to be able. And I love how you said that you were able to process and be able to say to yourself, you know what? He can only love and he can only do this at his limit, at what he only knew. At his limit more than anything. And I think also sometimes with our own parents, it's like they can only be able to give us as much as they know how. And being able to forgive them for that. And applying and saying, you know what? I respect you for it, but you know, I'm going to do better for my next seed. And I think also sometimes we even have a fear. I met a brother who had a fear of having kids because of how his father treated him. And it was like, wow, like he will not have kids.
Girl, you and I done had conversations. That's why I'm looking at you like, because I definitely be worried. Like, please don't let me help these kids out.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. How forgiveness, like, I won't even say forgiveness, but how something like that can even become a fear. Of you believing or thinking that, what if I made, because of what I experienced, put out to these kids? I just typically say, just remind yourself of what you didn't want for yourself. And just do the opposite of what they did. And saying, this is what I want to do. And granted, like I look at some of these kids, these privileged kids, and still not satisfied.
Because they get everything.
Right, because they get everything. And it was like, well, maybe, they didn't want everything. They just needed that parent's time. But that parent felt like, because I lacked as a kid myself, because I didn't have, I felt like I should give to you. That was my indication of love. And that's what we're talking about.
They don't have time. They have money though.
Right.
So
because they're working so much, because they didn't have that, because their parents was just probably, doing farm work or doing whatever, to make ends meet. And it's like, I will never have this happen for my kids. And so they go into, if I'm constantly working and I'm being able to satisfy you with material, then that feels good enough for me.
Yep.
Whoo, we getting some stuff out today. But it's true, like,
and that's why it takes time. You said, do you think you can forgive? And it's like, it takes time to
It
process
takes
some
time
of this stuff. Like,
to process. But what about when it comes back up? Like, you don't even realize sometimes how you can be triggered.
Yeah.
Just like, let's say it's something on the job and immediately, it's like a backtrack of, you know, something your parent may have done or somebody else may have done, and it's like, well, how do you cope with it? Coping mechanisms. I'm learning to breathe. For me, first off, to process, breathe, and then breathe it out. And it's like, okay, this is coming back to me because, you know, whatever the situation may be.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, how can we overcome this in this moment? Well, finding certain tactics that work for you, being able to really speak to yourself, being able to speak back to the situation. And like, I know for me, like saying the little girl that didn't talk, well, now you're an older woman now. Okay, now you got a voice and you gonna speak for yourself. So in those moments, where you feel like somebody is trying to put you in a chokehold and trying to overtake a conversation or overpower you, you're not doing that. Because the little girl in me is not gonna sit up here, oh my God, let me be quiet. No, now I'm gonna talk back to you. Because what you're not gonna do is talk over me. I'm here, I'm present.
Right.
And I'm gonna let you know, okay, I'm here, I'm still here. And that's what I'll say. I'm present, but you're not gonna talk over me. And it's like being able to find certain things or certain mechanisms to be able to help you cope. Being able to help you identify those moments. But yeah, forgiving's not easy. It's not for the faint. It is not for the weak. But I tell you learn so much in forgiveness, because then you get to learn more, you know, where a person wasn't able to give you exactly what you need, or you don't know what they were dealing with within themselves, you know.
That part.
You don't know.
You never know.
No, you don't know what they experienced.
What do you say, grace?
Who, grace? Have grace. I mean, grace is given to us. How many times we done probably done something to somebody and it's like, oh my God, ooh, I ain't mean to say that, or I ain't mean to do that.
One of my kids, I was in between a desk and something else, and he like tried to brush past me today, and I like put my arm out and pushed him back and was like, excuse you. I don't care, because he was upset. I don't care. And you don't have to care, but what you're not about to do is push me out of the way. You can walk around. Don't push me no more, because I ain't do nothing to you.
Right.
But later on, we went, after that, we went to lunch or whatever. And he was like, Miss Armstrong, I'm sorry that I did that. I was upset. And I said, and I seen that. And he went on about his business. I said that before he apologized, though.
You mean kids?
Yeah.
Talk about kids. It be the kids that be teaching you about you.
They do.
Cause they will.
It make you look at certain stuff.
Yes.
Like, especially if you do or say something to them and how they respond back, and it make you just be like, wait, what just happened? Okay, I did just yell or, you know, whatever, and that's how they responded. I can't even say nothing bad. You got that one.
Kids will make you see you for you.
Sure will.
They what you say. Like, even when I have conversations with my son, and I be like, no, cause you didn't listen, and and then a part of me in my body be like, but you didn't listen. And be like, shut up, it's not about me right now. I am trying
to teach you.
Right, I'm trying to discipline him. Why are we talking about me? What does got to do with me?
That's funny.
But it happens. It happens every time, no lie. And that goes back to that, like, self-reflection of yourself in certain situations when it comes to forgiveness. It's like, how are you coping with it? How are you feeling in this moment? Being honest with yourself. Being very honest and transparent with you first. I don't like this. Are you able to even tell the person that you don't like this?
Yeah.
Being upfront with them instead of, because then now you holding on to something. Like he said, you holding on to that baggage. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you may go through experience a slip and fall type situation spiritually, and all of this is fumbling out the mouth. You just going off, and everybody looking at you crazy because it's like, what the hell? Like, we were just having a good conversation. I don't know why we went left so fast. What happened? Because you're still, I felt that. You're still holding on to unnecessary baggage. Still holding on to, then it becomes, there you go. Then it becomes trauma. That's where
trauma.
Because you say you forgive, but you didn't. And then, like you said, that bitterness. You say you forgive, but you didn't. And then learning how to really be able to forgive and be honest with yourself and say, I don't like this, because trust me, that lack of forgiveness be pouring in relationships. Because you surely look at a person and be like, I ain't your daddy. I ain't your mama. I ain't leave you. Like, why is you talking to me this kind of way? Because of, again, like you said, that fear. Like, I was watching this one show. Forgot the name of the show, but the gentleman it was like a dating type show. And the gentleman on there had issues because his parents had just up and left him. And so he didn't want to lose his girlfriend. Like, it was like he was holding on to her. Like, you cannot leave me. If I gotta marry you, I'll marry you. Like, doing whatever she wanted him to do. But it was because he still had some issues. Thank you. Yeah. He still had some dealings when it came to, it was abandonment. And so he feared other people leaving him. Yeah. And he applied it to somebody